Hello, hello. I'm Sparkle, your single solo traveling sister, here sharing my tips and adventures to help inspire your next trip. Have you been on the hunt for a high quality luggage set with all the bells and whistles at a fraction of the designer goods? Well, you've come to the right place.
And your captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. Feel free to move around the cabin.
Hey guys, it has been a minute. I am back with my long-awaited review of the Sam's Club Members Mark luggage set that I purchased a little over a year ago. And I know what you're thinking. If it's been just over a year, then the reviews must not be good. And that's not quite the case. So I want to try to keep this review as short as possible because I am about to donate this luggage set to my niece who is on her way to college in the fall. I wanted to get on here and give a quick review because I mentioned in a previous video that after I had used these pieces a couple of times, I would get back and let you know if I am as equally excited after using them as I was when I purchased them. If you watched my dupes video on the luggage brands that are more affordable but still have all the bells and whistles as some of the popular brands, you know that I raved quite a bit about Sam's Club's Member Mark set. At that time, I hadn't used it. I had just gotten the delivery, but now I've had an opportunity to use it quite a bit. These three pieces have traveled with me nonstop over the past year to 4 different continents, 6 different countries, and probably over a dozen different flights. So let's get right into this review. I'm going to start with the Weekender bag. Now, if you guys remember from the previous video, you know that this bag was directly inspired by the beige Weekender. The style, the functionality, everything seemed very similar to the beige Weekender. I was skeptical at the time to pay full price for the beige Weekender because I felt this color was super trendy, but the light beige color and my traveling style, I thought would not last very long. And I was right. The main reason why I am giving up on this Weekender is because I did not use it that much at all, but the couple of times I did use it, it wasn't as functional as I hoped, at least not for airplane travel. It could be a lot more functional for literal road trips, or if you're just going across town, maybe you're staying at your parents' house for the weekend or staying at a friend's house for the weekend. I think it would be perfectly fine for that, but for traveling through the airport and on a plane and putting it in the overhead, it just did not hold up the way I hoped to. First of all, the color is a very, very light cream. Honestly, I don't even know if it's picking up on camera the way it should. It looks very washed out, and that could be just my lighting. But even after the few times that I did use it, it is already getting dingy, and I wouldn't even know where to begin to try to clean it. Like, do you take it to the cleaners? Do you try to throw it in the wash? I wouldn't want to go through that extra hassle. So I'm going to donate it. I'm going to give it away. However, it is quite large. So I do love the capacity of it. Well, I would say I have a love-hate for the capacity of it because while it is quite large, as you guys know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I have had my share of issues with my checked luggage not making it to my destination with me. So I try to be strategic as Oliver, knock it off. If you guys hear something in the background, I'm dog sitting and it has been a challenge. I try to be strategic as possible with the way I pack now. And I do try to have at least 2 to 3 days worth of clothes on the plane with me, whether it's in a carry-on and in my personal item or just packed strategically some kind of way, just in case my bag doesn't make it with me. So that was my intention with this bag. With it having the separate compartment at the bottom, my goal was always to put 1 packing cube worth of clothes in here and an extra pair of shoes here at the bottom. It had a space for my laptop and still have plenty of space for electronics, snacks, and anything else you might want to bring on the plane with you in the interior. It also does have a couple of smaller pockets so things don't get lost. And even better, a couple of small pockets on the exterior as well as that dolly pass-through. So it had all the things that I would want in a carry-on or in a weave. However, the issue outside of the color and it getting dingy right away My other main issue was because it is kind of a larger capacity, I would pack it with stuff and it would get super heavy. So lugging it through the airport, once you've checked your bag, if you don't have an extra roller bag, lugging it through the airport became a nightmare. You just look like a hobo, somebody that just ran away from home with all of your things. It just became too heavy, bulky, and cumbersome. And on very long travel days, when you have multiple connecting flights and you're walking to and fro in an airport that you've never been in before, looking for the lounge, looking for your gate, you will feel it on your back. So because of that, I did not use this very often. I would say in the past year, I probably ended up grabbing this 4 times, if that, less than a handful of times. So for me, this would be a 6 out of 10. Most of the credit goes to the functionality and the design. The points would be taken away for the color, which is completely on me. I think they do have a black option, but again, I was trying to create a coordinated set here. So yeah, the color and the heaviness of it, the ness of it. That's the word. Next, let's get into what I would say is the hero of the Members Mark collection when it comes to luggages, and that is this smart carry-on. Once again, you guys have seen this before in my dupes video. It is very similar to the Monos carry-on, the stitching, the style, the interior. If you hold the list side by side of the Monos carry-on with this Members Mark carry-on, you will see it has all the same features. And what I loved even more was that unlike the Monos carry-on, this exterior pocket completely folds down. So it opens up completely. Again, the Monos and a lot of the other ones just kind of open up to a V shape. When you open it up, you see a lot of different organization options, a mesh pocket here, a laptop sleeve, and additional mesh pockets and another deep pocket. Now, that seems good in theory, but unfortunately, it does not work as well in practicality. When the bag is full and you have a full-size laptop in here, it is going to be nearly impossible to put anything else in these pockets because then it won't zip close. The zipper part doesn't expand. And actually, this carry-on doesn't expand at all. And that is one reason why I am looking forward to giving it up, because now that I do try to take advantage of carry-on option as much as possible, I like to take up every inch that most airlines would allow you to. And this one was a little small, but I will say that this is the piece that I have used the most over the years. Once I gave up on the Weekender and I knew I needed something with wheels that would fit in the overhead compartment, this is what I grab all the time. I know I can put my laptop in it. It does have the external plug-in for your charger, but you would have to add your own power bank to it. So the power bank does need to be removable per TSA, but you do have that option. It doesn't come with the power bank, which I think the Mono does. I don't know. I don't know for sure. And then the interior, very similar to the Monos. It opens clamshell style. You have a mesh side and then a side with one interior pocket. Love that it has a handle at the bottom. So when you are grabbing it down from the overhead, it comes down very easily. And it also has a side handle. The wheels are very high quality. They glide right through the airport. Like when I tell you I have been to and fro with this piece. I have been on the streets of Tokyo, walking through the street of Europe. It glides across every surface, cobblestone, carpet, concrete, whatever you need. I've never had any with that. The only thing I will say is because it doesn't expand, when you're out of space, you're out of space, and it does not have a lot of space. While I love the idea of the external laptop sleeve, I do think it is better in theory than it is in functionality. I like being able to just zip it open and grab my laptop out without having to open my entire bag. But it does take up an extra inch of your packing. So that is prime real estate when you are trying to fit as much as possible in a carry-on. So for that reason, I am happy to donate it to someone else. But the handle glides up and down with ease. Just a really high quality functional piece overall. And again, that color, all the scuff marks, the couple of times that I did have to, I don't know if you guys can see, the couple of times that I did have to check it, it got scuffed up tremendously. So I'd rather not have a bag with a bunch of scuffs. I went with this lighter color because I thought it was trendy. I wanted everything to coordinate. I wanted something neutral, a color that I wouldn't get tired of immediately. I didn't want to go with black because I've had black luggages before. And when you are standing at baggage claim at the carousel waiting on your luggage, every bag looks like yours when it's black. So I wanted something that stood out a little bit, but not a bright color that I was going to get tired of immediately. So I tried the beige, and jury is in. It is not the color for me for travel accessories. So overall, for the Smart carry-on, I give it a 9 out of 10. This is one I'm sad to let go of, but since I have upgraded, I think someone else can get a better use out of it. And then last but not least, talk about buyer's remorse. This Member's Mark trunk was one that I for sure thought I was going to love, and I don't like anything about it, honestly. I wanted to have a larger option because, again, since I am a solo traveler, I like to pack strategically. There are times I like to pack a bit more. There are times I like to shop when I'm at a destination and I want to have that extra space. And while this does expand quite a bit, it just is not as functional as you would think. So again, I would say this is inspired by Monos. It isn't an exact dupe because it is different in a lot of ways, but you don't see the trunk style very often. So that's why I wanted it, because I thought it would stand out. I thought it would be sleeker, and I thought it would give me a few more options. It just didn't do any of that. While it is a large luggage, I will put the dimensions somewhere on the screen. For some reason, when you start to pack, it just doesn't hold as much as you would think it will hold. I have suitcases that are smaller than this, dimension-wise, and I either am able to pack the exact same amount or a little bit more. So I don't know what the cause of that is, but you can see that one side is deeper. Maybe I'll try to add in some B-roll here, but you can see one side is deeper and one side is pretty shallow. It is more tall than it is wide. So it's not a square, it's more of a rectangle. And it just does not hold. It is big and bulky, and it's kind of an awkward fit when you're trying to store it, but it just does not hold as much as you would think. Additionally, the main reason why I don't reach for this piece very often is that it does not roll as smooth. Now, the handle is pretty smooth. Like, never had any issue with that. But when I am rolling it through the airport, it always tips over a bit. I don't know if it's because it's a little bit taller. I don't know if it's my packing style, if I'm not distributing the weight correctly, but I always have an issue with it either like tipping over one way or the other, or like when I'm trying to move it from one place to the other side, it'll just fall over. And that is a nuisance. You feel like a klutz trying to get through the airport. So for that reason, I rarely reach for this. I think I have used this one maybe 3 times in the past year, and each time it just hasn't really been worth it. The two times was because I knew I was going to be doing some shopping, and I just wanted to have that extra space, and this was the largest piece that I had. And then one time I was packing some electronics, some equipment, but all of the times I've known immediately that there has to be a better option out there. So this one I would give, 4 out of 10. I mean, it's not the worst piece in the world. And if you are looking for something a little unique or that trunk style, this is probably going to be your best option in an affordable price point. But something is off ergonomically. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe ask your engineer friend. But yeah, I mean, you can still tell it's decent quality. And then again, with the color, plenty of scuff marks. Like I said, I have only used it 3 times, but still has a good amount of scuffing on it. And this one you would absolutely have to check. My carry-on, I don't have to check. I ended up checking it a time or two. I can't even remember what the reason was. I think I just wanted my hands to be free. But this one you would have to check, obviously. And the problem with that is you wouldn't even be able to order one of those luggage covers because the dimensions are so odd with it being a trunk style instead of standard luggage dimensions. So it's just bound to get scuffed. But if you are looking for the trunk style, I think this is going to be your best option unless you are just ready to commit financially to the Manos or Remorse or the other pricier options. So that about wraps up my review of these 3 pieces of the Members Mark luggage set. Actually just checked Sam's Club website and they no longer even sell the trunk. So it must be because people were complaining. Again, it wasn't horrible, but because it did not roll smoothly the way you need a luggage of this size to roll, it kind of defeats the purpose. But the Weekender and the carry-on are both still available and both in these colors if you prefer that neutral style. So I would definitely recommend those. And it does look like they have replaced the trunk with a regular size large luggage that comes in a set for $140. I paid a total of $250 for all 3 of these pieces. Brand spanking new. It was worth every penny. Again, if you remember, my intention was just to see exactly what my needs would be as I am traveling before I commit to a pricier option. And I think I have a pretty good gauge on what my needs are, what I need in a carry-on, what I need in a weekender, what I need in a tote, and what I need in a check bag. And because of that, I have gone ahead and taken the plunge and I upgraded to a brand new beige set with all the bells and whistles. So if you want to see my review on that or hear more about my experience with purchasing my beige set from the warehouse, check out that video. But let me know in the comments if you have used Members Mark or which luggage brand is your go-to and why. Thank you. See you next time.